Welcome to Comics League. I'm Jared, and today we are talking about the SnyderVerse, because today is the tweeting campaign where we will tell Warner Brothers that we want the SnyderVerse. And yes, this is Jason Momoa's Triton from Justice League. It's a 2017 Justice League prop, but you get the idea. It's the same Triton. And I wanted to hold this because today we're doing it. We're doing the tweeting. Now remember, a couple of things I just want to lay down some ground rules. Do not just tweet the hashtag. Twitter will not count that. An example of what you could do, put some text like, it's only right that they restore the SnyderVerse. Put a picture of any Snyder DC stuff or like any concept art or anything, and then put the hashtag restore the SnyderVerse. Don't just put the hashtag, it won't count. Be respectful to other fans and other DC properties. Don't be like, let's cancel that crappy, what is it? Like Peacemaker or something like that. All we're doing is we're telling Warner Brothers we want this too. That's all we're saying. And finally, enjoy it, because we're coming together as a community to celebrate what I think is the best superhero movie of all time. Is actually my favorite movie of all time. And I can't believe it's been a year. Really cannot believe that. I remember I was just getting out of class when it dropped on HBO Max. Lad was coming over. I had this hoodie on. And it's like, we're sitting down, and it's really hard to believe. At that time, we were still sinking in. It was like really surreal that we're sitting down, we're about to watch the Snyder Cut. What? Because for the longest time, it's like, you're kidding me. We're about to watch the Snyder Cut. Ever since May 20th, it was like, we're going to get this thing. So it was like really, really, really like surreal. It's still surreal to think that this movie's been out for a year, and I've only watched it 7 times. So we'll be watching it again tomorrow. I will 100% be watching it again tomorrow, the 8th time. My plan is to have at least 10 watch throughs. That's my goal, and then just watch it as I want to. So I'll probably be watching a couple more times. But anyway, going back to what I want to talk about today is what the SnyderVerse means to me. So I'm going to start off by saying that I've always been a DC fan, 100% through and through. Because remember, as we said in the DCAU episode that Lad and I did, I grew up on the Justice League Unlimited cartoon. So I was intimately familiar with like the Justice League. My first comics were Justice League comics, and my favorite comic book series of all time is all the Justice League books except for Bendis, but that's just because it's Bendis. Now, later on, when the DCEU started, I was a big fan of Man of Steel. I like Batman versus Superman because it was the first time the Trinity has been together on screen ever. All 3 characters, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. My only regret with BVS is that Warner Brothers put Wonder Woman in the armor in the trailer. They shouldn't have done that, because can you imagine how the theater reaction if we didn't know she was showing up and then she's fighting Doomsday with the League, she just drops in? That'd be great. And by the way, fun fact, did you know that the original title was like Justice League Rising or something like that? It wasn't Batman versus Superman. They just did that because they thought it would sell more instead of Justice League. Whatever. So then I saw Justice League, and it left a bad taste in my mouth. Obviously, I saw like Wonder Woman was fantastic. Suicide Squad was meh, but it's another movie that Warner Brothers has completely destroyed. But anyway, then I saw Justice League, and that kind of deflated me a little bit, because at first I liked it because I was like, well, at least it was a Justice League movie and everything. I had that. Well, I was watching it through rose-colored lenses, I guess is the terminology. So that was my thing. Then I start seeing, like Zach was posting on Vero about all of the things that were taken out of Zack Snyder's Justice League. And I'm like, wait, what? There's a better version of the movie where Darkseid shows up? There's more Green Lantern. Superman is wearing a black suit. Flash goes back in time. What? And then that's when I got interested in the movement. So I tweeted every now and then. And then May 20th, 2020, I was just getting out of a dentist appointment and checking Facebook. And then just a DC fan page had posted the Jurassic World meme with Ian Malcolm going, that SOB did it. And it's the black and white Wonder Woman poster that has Zack Snyder's Justice League, HBO Max 2021. And I went nuts in the car. I was like, oh my gosh, it's happening. Then Lad and I were FaceTiming, talking about it. And then I'd always thought of the idea of doing a podcast and a YouTube channel. And then it just clicked. Why don't I just do it on this? I love comic books. I'm a big superhero fan. Why not just do it like this? And then that's how the idea behind Comics League was born. And obviously we started with Under Two Capes, which is our weekend long form podcast. We talk about general things in the world of comic books. I have on interesting guests like Max MVP Priestley, Wes from Thinking Critical, Gabe El-Taib, formerly of DC Comics, co-author of Truth, Justice, and American Way. By the way, I pre-ordered his book. Pre-order it. It looks dope. Now, then I'll never forget it. March 18, 2021. I'm watching. I just got out of class because this was my class was online. So I immediately throw on the hoodie, let Lad in the house, then we just sit down to my home theater and start watching it. And the thought going through my mind was, please don't suck, please don't suck, please don't suck, because it would be really disappointing if this movie comes out and it's really bad. I didn't think it would be bad at all. Because the trailers made it look really good. And I love Zack Snyder's work. So I was 100% like confident that it would be good. I just didn't expect it to be this good. Now, this is the DC fan of me. I enjoyed Zack Snyder's movies more than the MCU. That's just me. So obviously getting a 4-hour version of it, which is basically his version of Lord of the Rings. And in fact, it was kind of like, I don't know what the word is, compared. Oh, I guess, yeah. Compared to Lord of the Rings because of its length and the sheer scale of this movie. Because you're dealing with, and Zack said himself, gods fighting against gods. And it's like, oh my gosh. And that's another reason why I love DC more than Marvel, because I'm a big fan of like Greek myth. And I think DC does the best job, at least, of making their characters appear to be gods, which is nothing against Marvel. I get Marvel style is more grounded superheroes. But it's just when it comes to superheroes, I like the gods amongst men characteristic, I guess. So I watched the movie, and within 5 minutes, I'm like, this is awesome. It keeps going. I see everything that's added, and I'm like, why did you take that out? Then we get to the final battle. No red sky. Well, actually, no. Before that, Martian Manhunter shows up, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Well, first off, Darkseid, Martian Manhunter. You took them out? What? Then we get to the final battle. Steppenwolf's about to axe Cyborg. And in the Justice League, what Steppenwolf did was lift Cyborg up and tear off his leg and throw him to the ground. And Superman showed up and goes, well, I believe in truth, but I'm also a big fan of justice. I'm like, this is so stupid. And in the Snyder cut, he brings the axe down and it hits Superman's shoulder and you hear a clang because he's the Man of Steel. He just looks at him and goes, not impressed. And he frost breaths the axe, shatters it, and then proceeds to beat the ever-living out of Steppenwolf. The Justice League joining in, they're juggling him back and forth. I'm like, this is DC, baby. Then the Flash runs back in time in one of the most visually stunning superhero moments I've ever seen. They kill Steppenwolf and the day is saved, and then they hit at the SnyderVerse. So walking out of that movie, I was like, was that real? I must have watched. I've watched it more times than. Let me put it this way. I know I watched it. I watched it 7 times, completely through. I've watched scenes like every single day. I'm watching Snyder cut scenes because it's just so cool. I vacillate mostly between the Superman axe not impressed scene and the Flash scene, and like the history lesson scene probably, because those are like some of my favorite scenes in the Snyder cut. And then. So that's really what the Snyder cut really meant to me getting to watch it. Because let me put it this way. I said this 2 videos ago. Being a hardcore Justice League fan, because once again, I read the comics. most of my favorite series are Justice League comics. Hell, I have the Grant Morrison JLA omnibus that I'm working through, and it's so good. But anyway, so I was a big fan of Justice League. I grew up on the Justice League Unlimited cartoon. So, and Justice League just felt like Avengers with Justice League skins. That's basically what it is. So to see a movie that actually treated them like the Justice League, a little overwhelming. It was like, I can't believe we finally got this movie. And I was also very angry at the end of it, thinking, why didn't we get this from the beginning? Because this is way better than every movie Warner Brothers has put out since BVS. I'm like, what? This is way better. Why don't you just stick with this? My hope is that we're able to today persuade Warner Brothers to, or more accurately, Discovery to, you know what? Let Zack do the rest of his 2 movies. They can use stuff like the Ayer cut and Ben Affleck's Batman series to like hold us over until he can release Justice League 2 and 3, and they can even film it back to back. So you can just dump it on HBO Max and be done with it. But I really want those 2 movies. I want to see an Endgame style battle where it's every single Green Lantern. Now, I'm gonna make a Jared prediction. When the Green Lantern show up, because it's gonna be the Man, Amazon, Atlantean, the Justice League, Green Lanterns. I think they're gonna do the Oath. And it's going to be epic. It's going to be booming. They're going to do the Oath with the entire Corps saying it as they fight Darkseid. At some point, the Oath will be said, either by Jon Stewart or the entire Corps. That's what I'm saying. So I really want to see like Zack do Green Lanterns, because the only other Green Lantern appearance live action that we've had besides the SnyderVerse was the Ryan Reynolds version, which I didn't hate, but I want to see actually good CG Green Lantern. That's my thing. That's all I want to see. Let me know below if you guys agree with me that the Green Lantern movie is not as bad as people think, but it's not the best. Let me put it's no Justice League. By the way, that was supposed to start off the DCEU. But anyway, remember, I'm gonna leave you guys with this. We're here just to have fun as a community and celebrate Zack Snyder's Justice League. So even if we don't get to like 1.5 million tweets or beyond that, it's just going to have fun and enjoy tweeting. Now, I will leave you at that. I have to go rule Atlantis. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you either this weekend or, this weekend for Under 2 Capes. All right, everyone, have a great week and great weekend, and happy tweeting. Bye-bye.